Welcome, beautiful yogis. Thanks for coming. I'm so happy to relax with you in restorative yoga. And today we will draw on the wisdom of the Radiance Sutras. So as you drape your body over the props, and we begin with the open book pose. I know you are familiar. We've got the two blocks setting up the bolster, and we'll sit back against it and lie back in cobbler's pose, or with your legs out straight, getting settled, letting your arms relax and your legs fall away. Ooh, and your shoulder blades too are falling away from that midline. And as you arrive in this place, to close your eyes and knowing that we are entering this sacred time within yourself. And so we show up exactly as we are. You know what that is. Accepting, receiving this moment as exactly as it is. And to know that we're going to, using the breath, the inspiration of the Radiance Sutras, to journey deeper into our interior sanctum. So in this position, let's do that nose breath in together. It's the big generous breath where we expand to full capacity and we pause for a moment. And then we blow the breath away. Letting go, sending away tensions and tightness. At all that is irrelevant right now. And we're already on that next nose breath in. Such an expanding and opening breath, we feel already the most internal space, the little pause, and then the releasing of that fullness, to glide, to slide, to blow away to emptiness. And so this is the practice at this time. Each breath is actually, on a very subtle level, quite different. Exploring within yourself the depth of your inhale and the feeling of the pause, the releasing breath. And how long can you extend that releasing breath until you rest in that moment of no breath? And it begins again. So we've got all our attention on this practice, even though thoughts try to intrude. We smile at them as we return again to that very palpable body experience of the incoming, the holding, the outgoing. And to know that nothing here requires any belief system. It is our direct experience of our own aliveness. It is also the medicine that we are applying ourselves to return, to reset, to become more still, less active with thoughts and planning, remembering. And just riding this fullness journey, riding the return journey, so immediate, so direct, in the way that resonates in your body today. And so if you have a chest condition or a nasal condition, these are little obstacles, and just let them be there. No need to struggle with your body, wishing it were otherwise. This is how it is. And here is my breath. And so that blowing away exhalation is a lovely way to begin our practice. Feel free to stay with it if it feels just right. Or you can begin to exhale through the nose. So mostly all our breathing is through the nose. Our body is built for that. Little hair follicles. The drinking in of the nitric oxide on that inhale to nourish, to heal, to support. Not only with the oxygen, but with that little magic little potion that lives there at the tip of the nose. That's so cunningly diverted into our bodies, which when we use the mouth inhale is not able to penetrate, is not able to come in. So it matters that we nose inhale and the exhale can be either. The theme of our practice tonight is so much about directly experiencing the 112 gateways to the yoga of wonder and delight. How, even as we live in this world of duality, of struggles, physical, emotional, financial, all the ways that we humans struggle, there are these gateways to wonder and delight. The Radiance Sutras take the form of a conversation between the divine, between the masculine, the feminine. And she asks him, how does this whole thing work? She says it more poetically than that, but I won't read that part. But here comes the first reply. Beloved, your questions require the answers that come through direct living experiences. The way of experience begins with the breath, such as the breath you are breathing now. Awakening into luminous reality may dawn in the momentary throb between two breaths. Exhaling, breath is released and flows out. There is a pulse as it turns to flow in. In that turn, you are empty. Enter that emptiness as the source of all life. Inhaling, breath flows in, filling, nourishing. And just as it turns to flow out, there is a flash of pure joy. Life is renewed. Radiant One, the life essence carries on its play through the pulsing rhythm of outward and inward movement. This is the ceaseless throb, the rhythm of life, terrifying in its eternity, exquisite in its constancy. The inhalation, the return movement of breath sustains life. The outgoing breath purifies life. These are the two poles between respiration goes on unceasingly. And between them is every delight you could desire. And even when the senses are turned outward, and your attention on the external world, attend also to the inner throb, the pulsing of the creative impulse within you. So resting as you are, beautiful yogis, in the open book pose, the direct experience of your breath. There are times when we want to purify. Now, should that be the case for you at this time, focus on the purification of your exhalation. And we'll be here a minute or two more. Just a few cycles of your conscious breathing. So now the invitation to gently bring your knees back up together. And roll over to one side, where I'm going to invite you to set up in a slightly different way. So first of all, we'll leave the bolster as it is, but just remove the blocks. So the bolster is going to be flat, and the blocks can be close, one block close to the top of your bolster. And then we'll open one of the blankets to kneel on. And so we're now on all fours over the bolster, and we're going to move a little bit with the breath, coming into cow-cat, so very gently. The inhalation is this curving of your spine, filling your ribs, and then the exhalation is the rounding of your body, lowering your chin towards the chest and drawing the tailbone under. Inhale, reverse that. Filling, filling, filling as the spine arches. And then cleansing, clearing, purifying as the spine curves into a rounded shape. We'll do this again. The movement will activate prana, and we're going still with the breath, rounding exhalation. The arch in your spine on the inhalation. And rounding. Feel your breath squeeze out, and we'll take it one more time. Good. So now from a neutral position, walk your knees towards the right. Come down onto your left buttock, but we're taking a side stretch. So we're sitting on the left buttock, and we're angled to the end of the bolster. Slide your left arm along the bolster and lie on your left ribs, and snuggling the bolster maybe into your waist, somewhere where you can fit it in. And we're lying on the left arm. And now let's straighten the top leg, the right leg straight. We've got a little vigor in the right leg. And if it's all right with your right shoulder, just bring your right arm and parallel it to your left arm. You could even rest your hands and breathe now into your right ribs, nourishing them. So we're opening space into the right lung, stretching the intercostals. We've got one more time here. Expanding, stretching into the ribs, softening as we exhale. Softening also that leg that was stretched out. Bring your right hand to flat. Press down to push your trunk up. And now we're going to make our way into the revolved child's pose. So we've got a little bit more opening. You can bring the bolster closer. And now, turning towards your bolster, lie down in child's pose. Now, if you want to bring your bolster up again, feel free to pop the block back, or try it this way, and we'll lie on the left ear. You can also bring your pillow blankie or other blankie, put it under your left ear. And we'll rest here now in the revolved child's pose. Returning to the feeling of the breath and the settling of the body. And that beautiful gift. We don't often think of it as a gift, but it is. It's gravity. Gravity pulls us down and allows our muscles to release as we rest here. So now the exhalation is responding to gravity to let the body weight release just that little bit more. Feel that. So while the practice of restorative yoga does not include a lot of actual moving or muscular action, sometimes nice to just bring it in, to bring again that contrast between movement and this following stillness. Yoga, the play of opposites, bringing the opposites into harmony and ultimately into oneness. So yogis, very gently walk your hands back so that you've got a little purchase there to push your arms to straight. And see if you can make your way back to all fours. Walking your knees back to underneath the hips. And we'll do just 3 cycles of breath undulating here, as we did earlier. The arching of the spine, the opening of the heart ribs. And as we exhale, the tail drawing down, the back rounding, and the chin lowering. Let's do this 2 more times. Slow is great. And after this 3rd one, walk your knees leftwards so that you can plop down onto your right buttock. Slide your right arm along the length of the bolster. Lower your right ear onto that arm. And then straighten your top leg, your left leg. And then raise your left arm up overhead. And we're here for 3 at least active breaths to open left side with both attention and breath itself. How our stretch is now breath-informed, breath-led. And as you complete this exhale, bring your left hand in front of your face on the mat to press down. Relax that left leg. Line it up with your right. And then pressing up again to be seated on your right buttock next to that bolster. Turn your trunk towards the right, and we're going to lie down on that bolster. And if you want to bring a blanket in for your head, do that so that you can rest comfortably on your right ear. Settle your shoulders. Settle your arms. Follow your breath. This subtle but palpable rotation of your torso. How it both stretches and compresses into the organs. And how we can bring the inhalation now right into the back. Guiding the breath to places we haven't felt it yet. Remaining in this restful place, linked in with your breathing. Extraordinary shift, extraordinary difference between autopilot breath that keeps us going moment to moment while we're thinking and doing other things, that operates from the medulla and the pons, that part of the brain. The conscious breathing comes from the cerebral cortex. It doesn't just happen by itself. We're aware of it. And it makes all the difference where our attention is. The breath that keeps us alive, the breath that regulates our nervous system, the breath that takes us into awareness, and the breath that also is the portal to higher consciousness. The breath that becomes a prayer. Here's a little poetry about that, also drawn from the Sutras, the Radiant Sutras. Be conscious of this unconscious prayer of your breath, for she is the most holy place of pilgrimage. She wishes for you to enter this temple, where each breath is adoration of the infinite for the incarnate form. And so, beautiful yogis, let's slowly come out of this child's pose, revolved second side position. Can you make your way back to fours? And we'll come again to undulate with breath the spinal column, the inhaling, the arching of your spine, and the exhale, tuck under and round, lowering chin, and even contracting a little bit at the pelvic floor, the root lock, which we must release as we inhale. And exhale again, the rounding of the back and the applying of the root lock, contracting pelvic floor. And we take it one more time. From here, we're coming either into child's pose, for which we are completely set up, widening your knees, sitting back on your feet, possibly placing a blanket there to support you as you sit back on your feet and lie forward on the bolster now, full frontal, or you can lie in the crocodile pose, where we'll lie with the legs freed up behind us, lying on the belly with the bolster under the belly. And we return to the breathing and to the pauses between each breath. And so as you rest in your conscious breath, be aware of the turnaround moments and let them increase a little bit in length. So the Sutras have something to say about these pauses. Enter these turning points where the rhythms of life transform into each other. Breath flows in, filling in this moment, drink eternity. Breath flows out, emptying, offering itself to infinity. Cherishing these moments, mind dissolves into heart. Heart dissolves into space. Body becomes a vibrating field, pulsating between fullness and emptiness. And so now, seamlessly and easily, make your way up as we create our next pose with our props. And that's going to be the seated forward bend. So make a little table for yourself. We need a table, we need a seat, and we need to create right distance between your seat and your table. A little lift for your bum. That's the seat. And then a forward bend to rest. And you know how to pile it up with another blanket to bring your table up higher. Cross-legged or straddle legs. We are now resting on the frontal lobe. Consciousness. Conscious breathing. The square breath is a lovely practice in this shape, and of course it incorporates these pauses more as an exercise. So your inhale could be 4 in, pause 4 out, 4, and then pause for 4 counts. Some of you might do 5 counts, but as you rest in the forward bend, practice this square breath. Do it for a few minutes. As with all the pranayams, we aim for smoothness of breath and transitions. pleading the square breath that you are on to stay in the pose, but allow your breath to take its own cadence. As you rest in your natural breath, I'll share with you the next sutra describing what we've just done. At the end of the exhale, breath surrenders to quietude, and for a moment you hang in the balance, suspended in the fertile spaciousness that is the source of breath. I'll say that again. For a moment you hang in the balance, suspended in the fertile spaciousness that is the source of breath. The source of breath. At the end of the inhale, filled with the song of the breath, there is a moment when you are simply holding the tender mystery. In these interludes, experience opens into exquisite vastness with no beginning and no end. Embrace this infinity without reservation. You are its vessel. You are its vessel. So beautiful, yogis. The invitation now is to sit for a moment, to be aware of being this vessel. And in the seated place, and be comfortable in your seated place, we'll do alternate nostril breathing, which I know you are familiar with. I'm going to guide you through the first in case you've forgotten, and it's the right hand thumb closing off the right nostril, leaving the left open for in. And then we'll close up the left at fullness, open the right for exhale, and the right receives the inhale. At the turning point, we switch sides, exhaling left side, where we stay for the turning point, breathing in left. And so the invitation is to guide yourself here, and maybe let the pause, let the turning point be longer as we did in the square breath. So you could be doing alternate nostril breathing with each of the turning points being long as the actual movement of breath. See how that feels. When you arrive at the left side exhalation, rest your hand down and sit in your natural breath, sitting in the vessel. Where breath is happening. And so slowly, let's change the shape of the vessel and come to lie on your back with the elevated legs. So you can use your tabletop for your legs to rest on or the wall nearby. Settling yourself in your terrain with what you have. To rest on your back and see how good that feels. We always come back to the physical form to settle that. To shape our vessel in its most efficient, most optimal way that's available to us here and now. Here lies our healing. No particular breath. Rest in its natural flow. complete now. This part of our practice, the elevated legs. So gently draw your knees in towards your chest. Hug them, embrace your legs with your arms. You might rock a little side to side, move any way that feels intuitive. Then as you make your way back, we're going to set up for the next position, which is supported bridge pose. So your pillow blanket goes above your mat. We'll use it at the very end. And the blocks go to the bottom of the mat. And we're going to lie on the back again, but this time we'll place the bolster under the hips. So from the pressing down of the feet, draw your hips up, pull the bolster under. I know for some this is a little too high, so you could use a blanket or two instead of the bolster. Wriggle your way into that feeling of your sacrum supported. And then the extending of your legs over or on your blocks. I like to hang my heels over the slightly angled into pigeon-toed blocks. So there's a lightness of just your feet hanging in space. And your sacrum melting into that cushion of your bolster. And the broadness of the upper back and shoulders and arms being held by gravity, as is the back of the head. So as we rest and feel this shape, let your awareness now just roam over your forehead. Your eyes, the corners of the eyes, and your cheeks. The nose, the tip of the nose. And the feeling of your mouth, your lips, and the space between the lips. The jaw that's slack. And the sense of your inner ears. The awareness now of your throat and the neck, sides, leading to the shoulders that branch off both directions, leading to the arms that stream away out of your shoulders, both elbows, forearms, wrists and hands. We take a moment at the hands, attending now your left hand, all attention on the left hand. Letting awareness and connection and resonance build with that left hand. And then heed the call of your right hand that wants attention too. Go all the way, all attention to right hand. Now we can feel both hands at once, the palms, the tips of the fingers. We go to the low back and the belly, the groin, and the streaming of the legs, the thighs, the knees, the shins, the calves, the ankles. And we come to rest at the both feet at once. How the whole body now is streaming with its own aliveness, and how we can tune into that and rest into however that manifests for you. The throb, the pulse, the flash, the ache. Abide here. And then staying as you are, so deeply connected to the inner. Seamlessly push your props into place for final relaxation. The bolster down, any adjustments that you want to make with a little hug in, and then draw that pillow under your head just as you like. Snuggle your body now completely comfortably, with or without the blocks. And so just find your own place. Just as a cat or a dog might, move around until it plops down and completely settles. So in this very, very quiet place, we listen. We listen to the roar of joy. The roar of joy that sets the world in motion It's reverberating in your body and the space between all bodies. Beloved, listen. And feeling again the breath. Align with breath and deepen it. Breathe in your heart. Feel your heart breath. Where we began and where we can live. And then very gently we begin to return to the room, to the time, space, little moving. And if you are in a deeply relaxed place, please feel free to stay. Otherwise, just roll on your side and rest a moment in the gratitude place. And make your way up to sit. We'll close our practice together in the prayer pose, in the recognition that what lives in you lives in me and the spaces between us. Namaste.